Hey there. If you're watching this video, then joining the gaming industry is something that you're pursuing. Do you have a relevant education, or you're changing career from something else to the gaming industry? Today, I'm here with you to share my journey and how I made it. It's not only that, the blueprint, what did it work, and the mistakes I've done so you can avoid. So let's start today. Let me minimize my screen a bit, put it in here. Perfect. So, my journey to the gaming industry, as I mentioned. My name is Ali. I'm a senior producer at Star Stable Entertainment. Star Stable is an MMO horse game for girls. We are based in Stockholm and we have been around for 13 years. Beside my full-time job at Star Stable, I do public speaking and mentoring. Worth mentioning that I'm a board member at Future Games, the Game Assembly, one of the best game devs in the world, and head of game producer education in Future Games Warsaw. So that's me, the boring slide. So, like I said, it's not only me telling my journey to the game industry, it's the blueprint, the steps that you can start implementing today. So hopefully by end of this talk, you will have a lot of tools in your toolkit so you can act on, and hopefully will make your journey to the gaming industry easier. Having in mind, I made my journey the hard way. I didn't get any help. But lucky you, I will do my best to support and help you today. Awesome. So, from dreams to reality, I guess everyone listening to this video, it's resonate with you. It's like we have dreams and we're working hard to achieve them. And you being watching this video, it's the first step that hopefully will make that happen. Me being gamer my entire life, I believe also you're watching this video right now. You love games. That's why you're definitely watching this video and wanting to pursuing the game industry, or at least one of the reasons. But when you play games, doesn't mean that you have in mind that working in the game industry is something to exist. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to play games my entire life, and as you can see behind me is all shrine of action figures and game related stuff. But working in the game industry, that's not something came across my mind until I was searching for a job in Stockholm, mainly in IT. Then I found that there's a lot of gaming industry jobs. Since then, I was obsessed. But that was my reaction that, wait a second, you can work in the game industry and make money. So that was exactly my reaction when this idea came to mind. And I was hooked. I was reading job ads every day in bed. Disclaimer, I stopped taking my phone to bed, and I highly recommend you do the same. But here I did I would say the first right action is by reading job ads. The gaming industry we have a really weird naming convention for a lot of roles. For example, if you have a product manager or project manager, we call them producer, we call them development director. So if you don't read the job ads, you might be looking for the wrong titles. Having in mind, to add a little bit level of complexity in here, some companies use associate producer, for example, especially studios in Japan, Ubisoft, with a pretty senior role. While my company and majority of the companies in Europe, associate is more entry level or more like a junior level. So reading job ads is a good start to get familiar with the job titles in the gaming industry. Not only that, I'm gonna come to that later. But first, you might be having an idea what you want to do, which is great. But please, don't be so rigid. Like, be okay to pivot. Sometimes you believe that you want something because you don't know what do exist, because we don't know what we don't know. But I really love this model. It's a Japanese one, where it just helps you to illustrate what you really like and want to do. So I'm gonna keep it on the screen here for a while. You can take a screenshot or you can just like search it. So it's just, you need to find what you're really passionate about, what expertise and what you want, what kind of things you want to change. So this will help you to kind of being aligned on what role or what craft you should land on next. In terms of skills, like any gaming industry, like any different industry, we need some certain skills and we need to build that. But I have some good news for you, because there's some skills we can transfer despite what the industry is. So there's a lot of skills you have already from your even being senior student, even done like a an entry job at a fast food chain, whatever you have done. And here's some of list of the, I'm gonna move my camera again, just stopping the text in here. So here are some of the skills that you can transfer to almost any industry. And the gaming industry, they're crucial. So I'm gonna put them in here a bit, so read them a bit. Being curious, being motivated, show some leadership, being able to adapt despite the company size, communication, problem solving, a lot of them. These are super important for our industry. And if you have been doing any of these or you have them in you should highlight them. You should maintain them. That's why some students ask me, should I mention that I've been working in a food chain, restaurant, or I've been doing this and that? I say 100%. Because you have been doing soft skills, it's pretty relevant. So have that in mind. You will never start from scratch. You have already enough to be like having few steps. What you need is just to acquire some hard skills we need for the gaming industry. When reading job ads, what went well for me is not only being familiar with what kind of titles the gaming industry use for certain positions, it's only knowing what gaps in my skill set I need to work on in terms of hard skills. Plus, you only identify the trends because sometimes you find the entire industry looking for some certain like skill set, then you know that it's kind of high demand on it, but there's not many people interested in. And if you use the model that I showed you in here, this could be actually something you never thought about that could be interesting for you. In the game industry, we have hundreds of different positions, depends on the company size, of course. There's a lot of niche positions that you will never believe it do exist, but it's actually do exist. It could be something very interesting for you. So when reading the job ad, you're identifying the skills that you're missing, and you can find the trends. For some positions could be the industry in truly need for, and it's your chance to jump to it. In my case, it was obvious that I never made a game. That was my biggest gap. And to be honest, it doesn't matter, maybe some of you is already finished with a relevant study. Some of you have done their own pace study, which is pretty amazing. Doesn't matter how you do it. What really matters is that you need to show that you're passionate and serious about it. Highly recommend doing game design course. It's hard to go wrong despite what you're gonna be doing, a programmer and art production. But doesn't matter what you want to do in the gaming industry. Doing crash course in game design, it's a pretty good start. And making a game is even cooler. I love shooting games, but I really wanted to do something more casual at the same time, help people to go to bed. So we made a shooting game that you shoot pillows on sheep so they go to sleep. Pretty cool. And that was really good for me when I applied for the gaming industry to show that I have done games. So I know exactly how it works. And I showed that I'm using a gaming engine, which is pretty important. Going the extra step, the gaming industry is quite competitive, and maybe some of you already realize that because you're applying already or you have heard from someone. That's true, which means that we need to do some extra work to stand out. I've learned that from an action or an encounter happened to me while pursuing the gaming industry, which is this book. It's a really cool book. I highly recommend to read it if you haven't. So this book is telling stories from the gaming industry, from the pain, from the celebration. It's really inspiring. While pursuing a career in the gaming industry, I was buying courses, which is I pretty highly recommend. Be careful spending your money because there is a lot of amazing free resources. I will share a lot of you during this video. But I was buying a lot of assets, some paid courses in Unity, and this book was released, and I didn't have money to buy it. So I did something I would never imagine that I will do in my life. I wrote an email to the library asking them to buy this book so I can borrow it, which is pretty normal, but for me that was a bit I was shy to do that, but I've done it anyway because I really wanted to read this book because I was interested in the gaming industry. And it went really well. They actually bought the book and I could borrow a copy. And when I've done that, I realized that, you know what, I believe the gaming industry is for me. Since then, I was always trying to do the extra step or extra mile. It's really important. So I started to push myself to the limits. Like me here standing, talking in front of you. It wasn't something I used to be comfortable with, like speaking in front of a camera. I always felt, shy and nervous even speaking in front of my own team. And now I go to stages and do public speaking. So starting teaching yourself, you need to do extra step in everything you do, especially when pursuing the gaming industry. Your portfolio needs to be extra nicer compared to any industry. You need to show more love, more work, more like excitement. So that's why the extra step is important to stand out. Because I was reading job ads on the websites, I got to see that DICE was looking for playtesters to play their games. This is from 2017 in January. And by the way, I still have the coffee mug. It's there I got the chance to try one of the games. It was still early or during development, which is a great way for you to interact with the devs, see games early stage. There's a lot of big studios, by the way, do playtest, and there's a lot of smaller studios, they do it online, which is pretty cool. I've done that many times before joining the game industry full time, where I get to help studios do some localization, do some QA, do some playtesting for them. So consider that as a pretty cool option for you to start interacting with industry people and gain more connections and more awareness how devs works in a pretty real life like situations. Playing games, like this is the easiest. I'm pretty sure most, like maybe I'm 100% all of you doing it already. But here's the thing, you need to play games differently this time. Now, don't play the game that you enjoy. That's something you do, I do all the time, but you should play games that you don't usually play. And play games differently. Pay attention to the onboarding, pay attention to the UI UX, pay attention to level design, pay attention when you are in a chasing scene, why you take certain turns, because the environment was guiding you in what way. Showing understanding in games also help you to, when having the discussion or interview, it helps you to show that you have a deep understanding even though you haven't done professional work in the gaming industry prior to it. So don't only play games differently. It's really important. Networking. By far, if there's one takeaway from this whole video, it's definitely networking. You could be the best designer, the best artist, the best gameplay, whatever. If I don't see you and see your skills, doesn't really matter, because no one gonna help you, no one gonna hire you to land in the gaming industry. So networking was by far the best thing I've done during pursuing the gaming industry or career in the gaming industry. I built my network as I'm working on it, as I was studying while having full-time job in a different industry. So I built a really massive network in the gaming industry even before landing on it. And that was a game changer. I was going to Meetup, because I'm pretty sure if you just look for meetups, you will find a lot of amazing local events. It doesn't matter how the size of your city or country, you'll find amazing gaming event in yours. And there's none. Maybe you should start one. You should definitely consider, you should be the one starting one, inviting passionate, aspiring game devs plus professionals if they do live around. So this is highly recommend to do it. And of course, there's a lot of amazing communities on Discord. You can join them. And a lot of gaming companies, they have servers for the community. So join them, build a connection with the devs, with like-minded people, and go with it. Plus, I know there's a lot of cool courses. They also have a Discord for their communities. Events is definitely a form of networking, and it's super powerful, because in events you build one-to-one, sometimes face-to-face or online relationship, which is unmatched. So if you've never been to a gaming event, highly recommend doing it. I've been going to events every year. I go like many times even though I am in the gaming industry. It helps me to maintain relationship, build new ones. It's super powerful. Of course, there's two forms of the events: is the online one and the on-site one. I understand if you're a student, in terms of budget, traveling could be a bit hard to go to the on-site one. So there's pretty amazing ones online. And I've been, while I'm pursuing the gaming industry, I send an email to an meet to match. Was pretty expensive, but I explained to them I don't have money right now, I'm pursuing, and they send me free access. So don't feel afraid or shy to reach out. And like I said, in that online one, I got to meet pretty awesome people in the industry and had to chat with them, explaining what I want and what I'm looking for. So highly recommend checking both of them and try your best to go to gaming events, mingling with people, network with them, make sure to connect with them on LinkedIn, and more importantly, to follow up with them. Connecting is the start of relationship, but when you need to follow up and continue talking. There's pretty cool events in Europe, so I just listed a lot of them. Gamescom is definitely one of my favorite. It's by far the biggest we have in here. It's maybe one of the biggest in the world. You will find every big company you have in mind, and they have two parts: is the commercial side and the studio side. So you get a chance to speak with the devs, you get a chance to visit the studio that you're interested in. They are, of course, attending, and you can speak to them and show your resume or skill set. So here's the list. So please take a look and see if there's realistic for you to be attending any of these. Most of this, what you see in here on site, few of them offers online access plus the on-site. So double check. And usually the online is a lot cheaper. But you know what? I put the link for you. You can find all the events that's happening across the globe. So double check this and make sure to find one that is suitable for you. Gaming industry, I said, is quite competitive and things are changing as we speak. So every day there's some new trend, new technology. And if you want to stand out, you need to make sure that your skills are a bit sharp and a bit always up to date. But to be honest, it's not that easy since a lot going on. So you need to make learning a habit without being more like a task. You need to do more like 5-6 hours a day. This one is not sustainable. And I'm still doing it, even though I have a full-time job right now. I still learning, I still reading. So I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and I teach it to my students or the people I'm mentoring. So what I do is that I read 10 pages a day. That's it. If you have a full-time job, if you have more time, of course, be my guest to read more and do more courses and more books and videos, but make sure to commit to something that doesn't feel it's too much because it's important. So what I was doing is reading 10 pages a day, which means if you go to average books, you can finish up to 6 to 10, depends on the size of the how many pages in the book, which is pretty cool. And if you do 15 minutes a video a day, you'll be always up to the trend. If you do 2 hours a week a course, that's how I've done my game design course. You can finish two big courses a year or multiple mini ones. So micro learning is definitely the way to stay up to date. So highly recommend always at any given point having a book, a course, and bite-sized videos about the gaming industry, analytics, some game design breakdown every day. And here's some really cool channels that you can check. GDC, like it's pretty known, is just the game design developer conference. Speakers from the experts in the gaming industry, Game Maker Toolkit, do a cool breakdown of game design. It's one of my favorite channels, and extra credits for Unity and some game development around it. Books, here's I left you a couple of books, so take a look or take a screenshot, check these books. There's a lot of really cool books, but this I chose 3 of them that I was like reading, and I believe everyone should just check them. It's pretty cool. As I mentioned before, is the balancing is a key in here, and be gentle with yourself, understanding your limits, because that was one of the mistakes I've done while pursuing the gaming industry. I did hurt my eyes twice in the process. I was having really low hours of sleep because I truly wanted it, but that was a mistake, because if you do that, you might burn, and you most likely will burn out yourself, and you're gonna hate this whole thing and go somewhere else. And that's not exactly what we want. We want you to really continue pushing the limits, but pushing it in a sustainable way and in an effective way. Because if you do more hours than your body can handle, if you do less hours sleep, to be honest, you're not gonna digest the information, you're not gonna be evolving, it's gonna do backwards. So really important to be sustainable and be patient. Generally, the game industry takes time. It took me 4 years. So I know some people it took them even longer, but right now they're striving. So be patient, it takes time, and try always to be curious and creative. It's crucial to, like I said, to stand out. And I just want to mention something quickly here about being creative is expose yourself to things that you don't usually do. Like if someone invited you to any like a D&D like game or board game or an event or something around the gaming industry or anything else, and you usually say no, and usually I want to go home and play games, I would suggest you should say yes and go there. You never know, you might end up someone who mind liking and combine and start something together, like a game or study or something. So always be out of your comfort zone, try something new. It usually helps. Mentorship is one of the biggest mistakes I've done while pursuing beside the unsustainable way of learning. I didn't get any help or mentorship, which is I truly regret. Mentorship is something we should always, despite the level of seniority and or how junior are you should always seek a mentorship. And the gaming industry professionals are the most open-minded people I've seen in my life. Everyone is happy to help. Everyone willing to help you and support you and guide you. So there's a lot of really cool programs for mentorship that you can pursue. And the one I'm aware of, most of them are free actually. You're just gonna go and pick a name that similar to what you're trying to pursue, and you write them a message, you book a call with them, like 15 to 20 minutes. That would be actually a good start. And you do that for like once a month until you're good to go for half a year. So highly recommend utilizing it. Mentorship just help you to avoid all the mistakes and guide you to the right way as much as possible, because those people have done this journey before you. They have done the mistakes and they know what's working right now and what doesn't, and this keep changing every time. There's some of the mentorship programs or communities. IGDA is the International Game Developers Association, that they also do exist in many countries, most likely in yours. Women in Games, pretty amazing community for women who are aspiring to be in the gaming industry or already in there. And Amir Sadvat, a friend, and amazing community. And by the way, I'm a volunteer in this community, so you could find my name there, and I can start do my best to mentor you. So here's a few of the communities that you can go and start finding mentorship and some guidance. Join a community. Joining the gaming industry is a journey, and it's not a short one. And it might feel lonely, it might feel a bit challenging. Doing it with companion, with a group, makes it a lot more fun, a lot more, a lot easier compared to doing it alone. So highly recommend, instead of being alone, join a community, make a group, form one if you couldn't find one. You'll be the one driving this initiative. So take initiatives if no one have done it. And I believe if you do it with someone, you push guys the limits, you encourage each other, you try hard to achieve this goal. And if you need help, you will get a lot of support. So I recommend joining a community. Feedback. In the gaming industry, it's a bit hard, or the hardest part, when you apply for a lot of jobs and you receive an automatic email saying no, or just you hear no after being in a lengthy interview. It's fine. It's 90% is not about you. It's just because it's competitive and there's a lot of factors internally in the gaming studio. So what I advise you in here, ask for feedback. Ask them like, how can I improve? What things could be improved in my resume? How was my performance in the interview? Every no is a redirection and step closer to the yes. So it doesn't matter how no's you will get. Always ask for feedback and always be happy because you're a step closer. That's how I see it, and it's been working pretty well for me and everyone. I encourage them, this is the right mindset of having it, because if you're going to take it personally, you're going to feel devastated, and that's not reality. It's not really about you. So highly recommend of doing that. And of course your work, because not only interviews, because sometimes people do like an art station, show all the art or show their games to people so they get feedback. And if you haven't done that, how you will know that you're building a right thing? How you know that what you are building is actually cool and interesting? Could be cooler than you expect. Could actually, investors are willing to invest in it out of the bat just because the idea is pretty cool. So highly recommend, show your work to everyone, be there, expose it. That's the only way to get feedback and to get more attention. And don't wait. Seriously, don't wait. You are more than ready. Majority of the people are way more than ready to start with their skill set, with their drive and passion. Just you need to show it and start applying. And when you hear no, ask for feedback, correct course, you're a step closer. That's how I see it. And that was it. Thank you so much. I hopefully this video will make your journey slightly easier, hopefully a lot easier, I don't know. And feel free to connect with me, happy to support further. And I cannot wait to work with you as a colleagues in the gaming industry someday.